welcome to your special edition of True North podcast stories. We're coming to you on the official Star Wars podcast day. Today is February 7th, 2026. I'm actually pre-recording some of the intro stuff while we deal with a very Arctic polar vortex covering over the Chicagoland. I am speaking to you from Chiberia, we lovingly call these days of freezing toes and hot tea for your Saturday edition. I first learned about the Star Wars podcast day maybe about a month ago, and I would like to thank all the other Star Wars fans and podcasters out there who are participating and giving their own rendition of what podcast day means to them as they celebrate all things Star Wars. It is currently cold outside, like the planet Hoth, and I figured why not do a rewatch of Empire Strikes Back. It's only fitting, and I'm also trying to gear up my Princess Leia Hoth Edition cosplay for a Chicago Wolves hockey game next weekend on January 31st. They are doing a Star Wars night. All right, so we're going to get right into this episode of celebrating Star Wars Podcast Day by, of course, podcasting and talking about some of the things that I'm going to focus on. And I'm going to segue right into this bit as I get into the show Andor, finally. Don't hate me. I am only on episode 4 of season 1. I've started watching it and then paused it and then started it again, but what I can say about this episode, I immediately knew the landscape, that it was the Scottish Highlands, and I spent a bit of the day kind of doing some research about set location managers, who was in charge during the original trilogy, and didn't realize that some of the set directors are no longer with us, and that there was a pretty unique variety between episode 4, A New Hope, to Return of the Jedi. I'm not quite sure if any of these original gentlemen who are still alive still work in film productions, but it got me doing a bit of research, and I came across the Set Location Guild International, or Location Manager Guild International. And yeah, this is a real entity for all of those individuals who work in that trade. Thankfully, the films they have focused on, and I don't know, I'm really drawn to jet setting and traveling to various locations, not just for Star Wars. There's a variety of films or series that I've seen that I'm just immediately drawn to want to travel to those places. And here is a little recap of some of the set locations that I have had a chance to visit over the past 5 years. Yeah, so back in 2024, I did a hop on over to Iceland for my 50th birthday and traveled around the Ring Road, got an opportunity to visit the black sand beaches, which we all know is very popular. You see all the videos out on the interweb regarding that beach. And also visited a couple different sites around Þórsmörk. There's actually a lot that has been filmed in Iceland. If you're curious about other set locations, Scotland is a very well-known location, not just for Star Wars films, but for many other series. And it's probably taken me over a month to gather this information in regards to where specifically some of the sites of Andor were filmed. And thanks to everyone on Walk Highlands website who gave me these photos and specific details about when they were filming around that region. The dam that you've probably seen in Aldhani episode 4, it is a very well-known area that you can visit, as well as you can hike some Munros around there. If you're wanting to venture out into the galaxy, you can take a peek on the StarWars.com website to get a better visual of all the worlds that are out there. And one of the jobs of set location managers is to do this reconnaissance work before they decide to actually bring production into those areas. I've gotten lost in this map in the Star Wars galaxy. It's really fun to go in there and think about where these travels happened. And if you are really interested in visiting one of the real world sites on planet Earth, you do have the opportunity to take a tour with Galaxy Tours and visit the real world Tatooine in Tunisia. Visiting Tunisia is every Star Wars nerd's bucket list trip. And I think I learned about this probably a while back. You see stuff out on the internet. And I did get to meet Devin Anderson, who runs the Galaxy Tours in Japan in 2025 for the Star Wars celebration. So we are going to be taking a tour group this March. I think there's 30 people that are coming on this 50th anniversary trip. And if you know nothing about Tunisia, but you love everything Star Wars, then I highly recommend that you start looking at your options for either fall of 2026 or even into 2027. I'll talk a little bit about that in a second, but there is the tour that we're taking. It's a 6-day tour. We fly in to Tunis, and we're going to take a caravan ride to Djerba Island. That's where the tour starts. And kind of give you an idea, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, there's at least a couple different sites each day. We get to go to Lars Homestead, Mos Espa, Mos Eisley, Tosche Station. We then go a little bit more west over by the Salt Flats to the iconic Binary Sunset location. And we will actually be enjoying a dinner while listening to the soundtrack of Star Wars. So there's a huge variety of both culture and classic film sites. And it's really an opportunity to just discover someplace different than the location that you live. For me, I'm flying from Chicago. I was easily able to find a Lufthansa flight to Frankfurt and then over to Tunis. Actually pretty reasonable flight costs. And the tour itself is a package deal, but it takes care of all your stays and all your transportation. And yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. I get to meet some new people from all across the globe who love all things Star Wars. And it's also Lucasfilm focused, so we do even get to see some Indiana Jones film sites. If you can't make it in 2026, you do have another opportunity in 2027. And oddly enough, it coincides with the solar eclipse event that will be happening in mid-August in 2027. So if all of that sounds like it's right up your road, you can go on to the Galaxy Tours website. I'm not sure right now if they still have space for the 2027 tour groups, but if not, you can always ask David to put you on a waiting list. I'm actually kind of considering to maybe even go back next year because the solar eclipse is actually going to be going right over the Lars Homestead area. All right, we're going to wind down part 1 of our first ever podcast day celebration. Big thanks to Jedi Talk, who is the whole reason that we have the ability to celebrate this Star Wars podcast day. Part 2 is going to focus in on the 2027 planning for the next Star Wars celebration. May the Force be with you.